Did you know that our dear Alex played this creepy role before?
Are you ready for the feast?
My wounds have the power to heal.
Did you know that 1923 is not Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren's first role together?
Sexy and still sexy. It's amazing.
Ah, she's still sexy.
She said, you ever,
You must know Jerome Flynn was this iconic character in Game of Thrones, right?
Give me 10 good men and some climbing spikes. I'll impregnate the bitch.
Well, if you haven't got the slightest idea, you're in the right place. Here's where you have seen the 1923 Season 2 cast before. Let's start with our lead guy, Brandon Sklenar. It's fair to say that Brandon made a name for himself thanks to 1923 and went on to play in controversial but quite major films like It Ends With Us. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not gonna go over the entire discography of the actors because that would be boring, so I will tell you a few projects where you might have encountered these actors. For example, Brandon was in that one episode of New Girl Season 6 playing a loner, or if you're a big fan of the iconic first season of Westworld and stopped watching it after Season 2, like me, you might have missed Brandon in the 2 episodes of Season 4. He was also in movies like Vice, Midway, and Karen. And when I went to see Mickey 17 last week, I saw him in the trailer for the movie Drop, which looked pretty interesting. It's apparently coming out in April. Where have you seen Brandon before? Don't forget to let me know in the comments. Let's continue with the male Daltons. Next we have Harrison Ford, who you must have watched at least in one movie, right? I mean, he's a legend. Do I mention his iconic characters Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Rick Deckard, or Jack Ryan? One thing fewer people might know is that this guy only has one Oscar nomination, and that is for the movie Witness, where he plays a police detective. Perhaps you have recently come across the Apple TV adaptation of the book Presumed Innocent. Well, that was the second adaptation. In the first one, which was a movie, Harrison Ford played the lead character Rusty. What do you know? Brandon is not the only 1923 cast member who shared the screen with Blake Lively. Harrison too starred alongside Blake in The Age of Adeline, a pretty underrated movie if you ask me.
Dad, this is
Adeline.
Harrison Ford has tons of movies I can mention right now, but I can't do all of them, so I'll give you this film where he acts alongside a young Helen Mirren. The movie is called The Mosquito Coast, where they play husband and wife. When asked about his previous role with Helen, other than calling her still sexy, Harrison had a hilarious reaction.
this or the conditions of doing this movie? Because it's down in
Let me
Belize,
see
right?
that again.
Yep.
Since we already mentioned her, it's time to talk about Dame Helen Mirren. Believe it or not, Helen started her career as Cleopatra in National Youth Theatre in the UK. She won numerous awards for portraying Queen Elizabeth II, both in the play The Audience and the movie The Queen.
I've never been hated like that before.
That must have been difficult.
While she also played Elizabeth I in the HBO miniseries of the same name. You can see how producers love getting her to play iconic women, as she also starred as Catherine the Great in the 2019 series. She was also in the movie Red and its sequel, as well as a few movies in the Fast and Furious franchise. Did you also know that she plays Kendrick Lamar's therapist in the music video for Count Me Out?
You texted me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I feel like I'm fallen.
And finally, she was the narrator in Barbie.
I'm not stereotypical Barbie pretty.
Note to the filmmakers, Margot Robbie is the wrong person to cast if you want to make this point.
Let's also look at some villains, shall we? Jerome Flynn. As I mentioned, his most famous character was Bronn in Game of Thrones. However, you might have also seen him in the 1990s show Soldier Soldier or the BBC mystery Ripper Street. Jerome was also in a single episode of Black Mirror Series 3 as Hector.
Your hot little face, blurred fist, dick burping fucking spunk everywhere. Your mum's gonna love that on Facebook, Twitter, Insta fucking whatever.
He also starred in Loving Vincent and John Wick Chapter 3. Did you watch him in any other project? Let me know in the comments. Timothy Dalton. Our bigger villain is a James Bond legend, the fourth actor to portray the iconic agent. I'm sure you'll love this upcoming info. He was Heathcliff in the 1970 adaptation of Wuthering Heights. He also played in the adaptation of one of my favorite books ever, Jane Eyre, a BBC serial that came out in 1983. Timothy also took part in, let's say, unexpected films like Looney Tunes Back in Action and Hot Fuzz. You might have also caught him in The Boar That Was the Tourist. Did you watch him as Rassilon in Doctor Who, or Malcolm Murray in Penny Dreadful, or Peter Townsend in The Crown Season 5? Can't wait to hear your answers. Julia Schlaepfer. For the entire time I was watching 1923 Season 1, I was like, I saw this girl before, but I couldn't figure out where. And then after looking at her IMDb page, it turns out she was Alice in The Politician. No wonder I didn't recognize her because she's so different in that show.
Can't believe it.
Believe what? That I'm a stone-cold bitch with ice water in my veins?
Besides her role in The Politician, which was a Ryan Murphy show, Julia was in another Ryan Murphy project, The American Horror Stories, where she portrayed a former milkmaid turned prostitute, a young woman who believed that she had the power to heal people by having them eat the pus from her smallpox wounds. Yikes. Could this get any more disgusting than this? No further comment. Finally, Julia also had a small role in the 2018 movie Charlie Says, a biographical movie about one of the members of the infamous Manson family. Julia played Sandra Good, a real-life member of the family. Doesn't she look so different? Darren Mann. After having minor roles in shows like iZombie, Supernatural, and Van Helsing, Darren went on to have a recurring role in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as Luke. As for his movie career, I can tell you about the films Hello Destroyer, Embattled, and The Minute You Wake Up Dead. Mind you, Cole Hauser was also in this film, so it was a Yellowstone reunion of some sort. Michelle Randolph. Well, here's a shocker. Michelle starred in another Taylor Sheridan show last year, Landman, where she played the main character's daughter. At least she's not wearing that horrible wig, right? Anyway, you might have also seen her in The Resort and The Throwback. By the way, she's also in the upcoming Scream 7. Aminah Nieves. Finally, we have our little Tiona. Believe me when I say 1923 is the actor's biggest project. Before this, she was only involved in short films. Her future seems the brightest though. She's going to be in director Catherine Bigelow's upcoming White House thriller movie, set to come out this year. If you want to learn more about the cast of the Yellowstone universe, check out this video.